Everybody knows that Nietzsche said God is dead. For some people, this sounds like a pretty bleak statement, but for Nietzsche, it's a good thing. Now that God is gone, he argues, people can free themselves from Christianity's concepts of good and evil, which he believes are false, and create a new moral system which will allow them to realize their full potential. In Brothers Karamazov, Mitya, a violent ex-soldier and a gambler, is accused of murdering his father. He's arrested and sent to jail to await his trial. In the interim, he's visited by a journalist and they end up getting into a theological debate. Mitya tells the journalist, if there is no God, then everything is permitted. For Mitya, everything is permitted as a negative outcome of there being no God. This is not freedom, it's chaos. It's the existence of God that gives morality its authority. For Nietzsche, everything is permitted as a positive outcome of there being no God. No God, no more good and evil as we know it. Nietzsche believes Christianity is a slave morality. Slave morality, he argues, is created in reaction to master morality. Values of the master that are considered good, nobility, pride, and vitality, are viewed as evil in the slave morality. Nietzsche feels this is due to the slave's jealousy and hatred of the master. So in reaction, the slave creates a moral system that values charity, pity, and humility. What is judged good or bad in master morality is based on consequences of actions, while in slave morality it's based on intent of actions. An example of master morality would be if a king starts a war, innocent people will be killed. But if the war results in a greater peace, then it is good, or as Nietzsche would say, noble. In slave morality, an individual would not start a war. The mere intention of doing so would be evil because innocent people would be killed. Nietzsche argues that Christianity is a slave morality created in reaction to the Christians' masters, the Romans. The most famous scene in Brothers Karamazov is Ivan Karamazov's recital of a poem he wrote called The Inquisitor. In this poem, Christ returns from heaven, arriving at the city of Seville during the Spanish Inquisition. After observing a heretic being tortured in the town square, Christ is discovered by the crowd, causing elation and requests for miracles. He is arrested by the Grand Inquisitor and placed in captivity where he is cross-examined. The Inquisitor explains to Christ that he was once his most ardent follower, but he has become disillusioned with his teachings and has since led the way in developing a new interpretation of Christianity, which he feels bodes better for the well-being of man. Rather than emphasize Christ's true message to men, that with the knowledge of good and evil, they have the freedom to choose whether they sin or not, the Catholic Church would instead give out pardons for every sin, relieving men of the burden of their responsibility to choose, but unbeknownst to them, sentencing them to an eternity in hell. The Inquisitor justifies this by arguing it's the only way to maintain order in society. He claims that men, who he feels are morally weak, unintelligent, and essentially slaves, were given that freedom of choice for a period of time, and that there is nothing but chaos and war. The Inquisitor's rationale for the Church's actions, like master morality, makes judgments based on the consequences of actions rather than intent. While many will be damned to hell, it's necessary for peace and stability on earth. The Inquisitor's words imply that Christian morality, which judges what is good or bad based on the individual's intent, is too great a burden for the average man to handle because he's not strong enough to make the right choice. What do you think? Do ends justify the means, or should everyone follow Christ's example of peace, love, and charity? What is appealing about master morality and what is appealing about slave morality? What is problematic about either system? Is a society governed by either system viable, or can we combine aspects of both systems? Thanks for watching.